OnePlus is here with a new flagship and it's got a giant battery. This is the OnePlus 15. Could this be the high-end phone that you need to get? I'm Will Gove for GSM Arena and let's find out in our OnePlus 15 review. The OnePlus 15 is a high-end phone and it isn't cheap, but it's still a bit less expensive than the top-of-the-line flagships on the market. This is because its cameras are not as cutting edge as the top camera phones, but otherwise it has the premium features you might expect. These include the latest Snapdragon chipset, a huge battery, blazing fast charging, and an extra high refresh rate OLED screen. The design of the OnePlus 15 is very similar to the Oppo Find X9 Pro, which is the flagship of OnePlus's sister company. The OnePlus isn't too heavy, despite its large battery, and it's the square camera bump with black cutouts that stands out aesthetically. The back panel is flat and made of a different material depending on the colorway. In this ultraviolet color, it's made of Gorilla Glass 7i and is textured and soft to the touch. And you get a flat aluminum frame here. The OnePlus 15 has a hardware key on the upper left side of the frame, which can be used for a number of different shortcuts that you can assign in settings. The ingress protection here is above average. The phone is rated at IP68/IP69K, which means protection against dust, water submersion, and heated water jets. The display of the OnePlus 15 is a 6.78-inch LTPO OLED with Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. It has a lower resolution this time around. Last year's was QHD. This has allowed them to increase the max refresh rate to 165 Hz. In most scenarios, the refresh rate will cap out at 120 Hz, and it smooths out swiping and scrolling as usual. And with LTPO tech, this will dial down as low as 1 Hz when idling to save energy. Where you see the higher 165 Hz is within supported games. These may or may not run at a constant 165 FPS, but you will get the benefit from the high refresh rate gaming nonetheless. And in games that aren't specifically supported, the phone can use interpolation to try to reach the desired 165 Hz, but the effect is not as nice. While the display's resolution is a bit lower than last year, it's still quite sharp at 450 ppi, and you get slim bezels and support for the HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision video standards. The maximum brightness is great here. We measured up to nearly 800 nits with the manual slider, and this can boost to over 1300 nits in auto mode, and it can even boost much higher than that within the phone's gallery. For audio, the OnePlus 15 has a pair of stereo speakers. Loudness is very good, and the vocals and highs are relatively clean, but the bass leaves more to be desired. You can listen for yourself with our comparison tool linked below. The OnePlus 15 has an ultrasonic fingerprint reader under the display. It's placed well and quite responsive. And you can get the OnePlus 15 with 256 or 512 gigs or a terabyte of storage that isn't expandable through microSD. Something else worth mentioning is that there's an IR blaster, so you can use the phone to control appliances with. The interface of the OnePlus 15 is the new Oxygen OS 16 on top of Android 16. If you're familiar with Realme UI, Color OS, or previous versions of Oxygen OS, you'll feel right at home here. One new feature is that you get a black space around the selfie cutout, which can house shortcuts for things like timers and playing media, similar to what you get on the iPhones. Speaking of iPhones, there's now better connectivity between OnePlus and Apple devices, and Windows PCs as well. You can even place your OnePlus close to an iPhone and send files on the go, but you need to have a specific app installed on that iPhone first. The Mind Space feature is back. By default, the hardware key is set to add things like screenshots and voice notes to your Mind Space, and from there it's organized by AI for easy reference later. There are also future plans for deep integration with Google Gemini. The Gemini AI will give you more personalized responses based on your MindSpace data. Other AI features include an AI-powered search within the device, AI writing tools, translation, summarization tools, and transcription of voices into text. And there are a bunch of AI-based editing tools within the gallery as well, like the AI Object Eraser. You'll find even more AI features within OnePlus's AI Play Lab. These include editing photos based on a prompt, turning your pictures into videos, and recreating menus in a different language. The app is also available on the Play Store. And for support, OnePlus 15 owners can expect 4 major OS updates and 6 years of security patches. The OnePlus 15 is one of the first phones to come out with Qualcomm's new flagship chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. It promises improvements across the board over last year, including CPU and graphics performance, ray tracing, AI performance, and power efficiency. And in benchmarks, we see very good scores from the OnePlus 15. It's right up near the top of the charts as one of the most powerful phones available right now. The thermal management on the OnePlus is very good, especially considering the high-powered chipset. To get the CPU to reach its peak clock rate, however, we had to run the benchmark app through the game assistant, posing it as a game, which is something we haven't done before, so we wouldn't compare these results directly to other phones. The OnePlus 15 features a huge 7300 mAh battery, even in units sold in the EU. It's a significant upgrade over the OnePlus 13, with its 6000 mAh battery. As a result, the OnePlus 15 is the new chart-topping phone when it comes to battery life, scoring better than any phone we've tested so far. It earned an amazing active use score of over 23 hours in our tests. On top of that, the phone supports 120-watt charging using OnePlus's proprietary SuperVolt charger. This charger can top up the phone to 78% in half an hour, and a full charge took just 41 minutes. Quite impressive. But you can get a comparably fast charging speed with a 55-watt USB power delivery charger. You also get support for 50-watt fast wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. Now we have the cameras, which aren't Hasselblad branded this time around. There's a 50-megapixel main camera, a 50-megapixel 3x telephoto zoom, and a 50-megapixel ultrawide cam with autofocus. It's a similar setup to last year, but you have smaller sensors and apertures on the main and zoom cameras. At least the optical zoom has gone from 3x to 3.5. One peculiar behavior of these cameras is that there's a 12-megapixel shooting mode and a high-res 26-megapixel mode, and the system may switch back and forth between the two at will depending on the conditions. For example, when using the 26-megapixel mode with the main cam, we got the expected resolution only outdoors, while most indoor shots came out at 12 megapixels, and in low light it was all at 12. At first glance, these 26-megapixel photos have a wide dynamic range and lively but not over-the-top colors. However, upon closer examination, the detail and sharpness are not very good, to the point that it reminds us of an upper mid-range phone and not a flagship camera phone. The 12-megapixel images appear sharper, with better contrast and rendition even if they're a bit more processed. You also seem to get better dynamic range, due to the improved HDR algorithms at this resolution. Photos of people look very good. They're not terribly sharp, but they have nice colors and wide dynamic range. The 2x digital zoom photos from the main camera always come out in 12-megapixel resolution. They have about as good image quality as the 26-megapixel photos. Decent but not great, especially with more distant objects. There's also a macro mode that uses a 3.5x digital zoom from the main camera. We can't say that we're impressed by the results, but the shots look good, keeping in mind that they're not shot with optical zoom. At night, the OnePlus 15 uses night mode automatically. The main cam's photos come out really nice. They're clean, sharp, and fairly detailed, with a wide dynamic range, and colors which are a bit on the conservative side. Moving on to the telephoto cam. During the day, most of its 3.5x zoomed photos come out at 26 megapixels. But sometimes the system would prefer to take a 12-megapixel photo, even in broad daylight. In any case, the photos are sharp and detailed, including the shadows. The contrast and colors are great as well. Even at 12 megapixels, the zoom camera performs great, but we prefer the 26 megapixel mode, as the shots are already good enough there. And the zoomed photos of people are great too, with exemplary detail and skin tone rendition. OnePlus put a 7x toggle in the viewfinder, and the quality of digital crops is quite good. You can snap some really nice zoomed shots if there is enough light. The 3.5x telephoto produces nice photos after dark. They're clean and have good dynamic range. There's a lot to be desired in terms of definition, but we're okay with the results. As far as ultrawide cameras go, the photos here are above average. Sharpness and detail are nice, but colors are somewhat muted compared to the other cameras. At night, the ultrawide again puts on a decent performance. It's not terribly sharp, and the dynamic range leaves more to be desired, but overall it's a good showing. Selfies come from a 32-megapixel front-facing cam, which has a really wide field of view. The photos come out well balanced and with nice skin tones and a wide dynamic range. Zooming in reveals that the images lack any fine detail, but if you only intend to view your selfies on your phone, these would serve the purpose just fine. The OnePlus 15 can record in up to 8K resolution with its main cam, and other cameras can do 4K. The main and zoom cameras can also record 4K 120fps slow-mo. The main camera's videos are great across the board. The videos are quite sharp, detailed, and free of noise. Contrast is good, dynamic range is wide, and colors are lively. This video camera really stands out in low light. The 3.5x zoomed footage is nice as well. Overall quality is good, but we wish the image stabilization was better. Dynamic range is a bit limited and contrast is low on the low light clip, but the noise isn't that noticeable, and there's plenty of detail. With its limited dynamic range and slightly muted colors, the Ultrawide's daylight video isn't impressive, but it's okay. We can't say the same for the low light footage though, as it's quite noisy and soft. And video stabilization on the main cam does a solid job at smoothing out the footage, even when walking. So that's the OnePlus 15. It's a proper flagship phone with the latest hardware, a premium design, and an extra high refresh rate screen. Its battery life is the best on the market, and the charging is quite fast too. Only the camera quality isn't as top-notch as that of flagship camera phones. But if you're fine with that, the OnePlus 15's champion battery life and stellar performance make it an intriguing offer. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives, you can check out the Oppo Find X9 Pro or last year's OnePlus 13. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.